welcome back to another video, and this video is based on student management system, and I think this is part 5 or something, right? I don't remember, but I'm going to continue that project. So what have we done so far is we have created our main screen. Let me show you. Okay, here we go. So we have just created this main screen. We have added some buttons over here in our menu section. We have added a review. We have added date and time, and we have added our heading, our project title, right? And we have just changed our title over here too. And we have added connect to DB button. And when we connect here, after giving the host, user, and password, when we say connect, we are going to connect to our database, and that all things has been done. But let me show you that we have left over with add student, search student, update student, and all these buttons, right? If we say exit, then also we have to program for it, right? So we have to program for 7 buttons. So maybe there will be 7 parts, or maybe I will cover 2 or 3 buttons in one video. So let's start it. Before starting, what I want to tell you is I've just placed this button over here, but I'm just thinking over it, where should I place? Most probably I should place it over here, and I should take this title little bit to a left and place this button towards the right. And now we are going to make a window for add student after connecting to database. So we have completely worked on this button connect to database. Not only we have just created this window or this pop-up window, we have added functions to it. Like if we add wrong data, it will say invalid data. If we simply say connect without entering any data, it will also say wrong data or invalid data. Let me let me connect to database and show you. So I will say host. Our host is localhost. Okay, local local host. Then we will say user as root, and our password okay. Know what happened? I have to just open my MySQL 2 over here. Okay, now if I will say connect, then here you can see that you are connected to the database. Now after we have connected to our database, we have to add data into it, right? So for that we have to make a window to add student, and we have to add functions to add data into our database. Like so, now we are going to start it. So please be somewhat put some more concentrate over here, and please don't just copy the code, try to understand. And in this part I am not going to explain the tkinter part, because I have explained it too many times, right? When I was creating this window, part 1, part 2, they have explained this tkinter, so I'm not going to explain that more. I'm just going to crop that video with that video part, okay? And I'm just going to explain the database parts, okay? So let's start it. So I'm in my program, like I'm in my editor, not in my program. So I will create another new function, that is def add students students add students. Okay, def add students brackets, and out of it semicolon, right? And in that I'm again going to okay, I will add it afterward. Just now it will be we are going to pass it. And now below here, down over, scrolling down to our buttons, where is our add button? Okay, here it is. Now we are going to say command is equal to add student stude. Okay, stude nth. Forget to put an n over here, I think so. Oh yeah. Okay, so these all things I have explained why we are adding command over here, because we have to jump to this function def function over here, right? So I used over here too when I was explaining about connectivity, right? So everything is set. Now we have to just go and add like buttons and make windows. So first of all, I will meet you after 2 seconds adding the windows. So yeah, I'm back now. I have added windows that is named as add root, and I have just like I've given them some, what we can say, configuration. Yes, you can say it is configurations. I would say top level, right? Because we are uh, creating a window into a window, and I would say master is equal to data entry frame, because the master, that is our, all the buttons are located in our data entry frame, so we are just adding master as data entry frame. Grab set is for that, to not to like so it's like when we will run the program, I will show you. I will explain you once, let me explain you again. When I will run my program over here, okay, oh, there's a problem. Let me show you. Where is it? Invalid syntax. Oh, syntax error. There it is. Let me find. So yes, there it is. There was no mistake, but I don't know why it happened. If I will say add button, you can see our window open here. Now what I have done is we can't minimize this window till we don't close this window. We can't work upon this window, so we are using grep set for that, right? And we have to close this minimize and maximize button, disable it, so we'll do it too. So here it is. Let me go up and say disable false comma false. Oh, it is already done now. So it happened, I don't know, let me see. So yes, I've just done it. What I've done is I've just cut it from below and I have pasted it upside there. Sorry for that, but it's done. Like, let me run it and show you. Always I run with my terminal, but that's my mistake. I have to run with my Python terminal, right? Like both are the one and only, but Python terminal, like it will show less errors. If I will say add button, now you can see I can't minimize or maximize this window. Now you can see that after adding grab set, if we are working on this window or this part changes the color. If we are working on this window, this will we can't work because it's open over here. If we close this, we are working on these windows. So let's go ahead, and now we are going to add labels and buttons into it. So give me 2 seconds, I will come back. So yes, I have added labels. I've just added labels, but I have to change the colors and all. Just give me 2 seconds, I will come again back, and sorry for these all things, but like if I will go explaining on this again and again, it will take a lot of time and it will consume a lot of time. Now my video will be like very much lengthy, and you all audience will have to face like you will feel this tutorials boring, so I'm not explaining this again and again. So done. What I've done is a silly mistake, that I've added this end loop before and everything these labels below it, so it will won't work. We have to add main loop at the last. Okay, we don't have to put in between. There is a proper sequence to put, right? So done. I've configured all the things whatever I needed. I've designed all the tkinter widgets as per my need. You can design as per your need. You can use color palettes. You can just go on Chrome or any browser. You can just search color palettes and there will be a lot more color palettes for you. You can use them. Like they will give you a hex code. Simply, instead of white, or just erase this white, say hashtag, and the code which you have with you, the hex code, you can do that, right? Now I will run it and show you like what I have created. Again, every time I press on that button, but I have to run like this. I have to execute in my Python terminal. I don't know, I run this. Let's see how it goes. Okay, now we'll say add a student, and here we go. Like we have added all the labels. Now we have to add our entry widgets over here, next to it, right? And we have disabled these two, and we have placed this flat on the left side only. So everything is looking perfect. Down here will be our submit button, like add student button or a submit button, anything you can say. Okay, so I'll close this, and I am going to add entry widgets over down over here after this. So I will say entry, ENTR, entry. Okay, sorry for spelling mistakes. Entry widgets, okay, entry widgets. Done. Now again I will meet you after 2 seconds. Okay, so I'm back. Now one thing, let me show you. Here we created our connect to database button, right? What we have done here, we have just said labels. Again, upside in our end student we have added labels part. Again we have said text, like entry widget. So we have said host one string where, and this we have added our entry widgets. The same thing I've done over here. Like I've just said everything into a string where, okay, so, like ID, name, mobile, email address, journal, like gender, I was literally sorry for that, and date of join or date of birth, anything you want to say it. And I've done the same thing, right? I don't want to explain this again and again. Still I will use this. Entry is for the widget, add root is our window that we have created, top level window. We have configure fonts like times, font size 15, and it should be bold, border size 5, and text variable ID, well, it's here, right? So everything I've just configured. Let's run it and see how it goes. So we'll run it from here. Sorry, again I have to run it from here, man. Okay, so let's wait for some time. Again I will go and say let's meet after 2 seconds, but we'll stay here. Okay, so here it is. Now I will say add student, and here we go. We have added all the data entry frames over here, right? So you can see we can enter our data. Right now the last thing what we have to do is we have to add a small button over here that says submit data, or add a student or submit, right? So let's see it. So again I will meet you after 1 second. Like here we are going to add a button that's also tkinter widget, so I won't explain you for much. Done. So sorry for this, but I won't go explaining again and again, and I won't say this again and again that I will not explain it. But don't feel like that, oh, this guy is not explaining me very well. I've explained it in the previous video. I'm just like you can just go down and copy again and again, and then make some changes. Like I have to just type, I have to just put this ID entry frame, then I have to just copy it. Again I have to just name it as name entry field, and then you have to just change it, right, into it. So here I have said submit add, so I will go up, and here I will create a new def value. So we'll say def submit add. I know grammar is my grammar is so weak, but it's okay. And done. Now I think I should run it. Yep. So again I was just going to run it from over there, but now I remember that I have to run it from here. So let's wait for some time, and again we will meet over there. Come on. Okay, so I will say add a submit, and you can see, okay, I have to change my front active front ground colors. Here's something new. Let me explain you. What I will say is just let me see if we have used in our here. Oh yeah, we have used. So I maybe I have explained, but I will explain you again. It's just a small thing, like it's not a big deal. Active foreground color and active background color. So what I will say, my active foreground color is white, so I will say it's as black. Done. And the main color of this window should be black, and FG also should be black, means front ground should be black. Just to hold for 2 seconds, I will explain the active foreground color and active background color. Done. So active background color is the background before clicking on that widget, and active foreground color is when we click that widget, like it will change the colors of the text and the background when we click, right? Basically it means that only. Now again I will run it. Student, okay, let's say add student, and here you can see when I will click it, it will won't change because I'll just, what I've done is I'll just say black and white everywhere, so it won't work. But if I will just invert this white and active foreground as black, then I think it should work, right? Let's say if it works, then it's our luck. If it don't, then we'll see what to do. We have option in every situation. Just see what you have, like, is there any options or is there any choices you have. In life we have many choices. It's upon us. So let's go, and if I will click, then you can see that it's changing our background, and like when I will click it, then it will invert the colors, like the background will be of white color and the foreground, like the text color, will be black. If I will if I will remove this cursor from it, or if I won't press it, then it will be black and white again. So we have created this window. Now we have to add functions into it, right? So let's add that function, and these all things I will going to explain you, right? So this will be a lengthy from now, so take a break and then come back, watch this video and then take a break. Okay, so I am back in the window, our editor. So I think you all have took a break. Now after a break, let's see what are we going to do here. We are going to connect to our database and add data into it, and we will see that is it working or not, right? So as we have done in our connect database, first of all, what we have done is we have just took all the data. We have, like, we have said get all the data which we have entered in our these text formats, these all things, id val, name val, mobile val. We will get all the data over here in our second def function, that is submit add. So we'll meet after 2 seconds, and you know how to get it. I will explain it again anyways. Okay, so here you can see I've just did the same thing as I did in the here connect database buttons. So I'll just get all the text or all the data from our enter widgets, right? I said id val.get, everything we have just got it from our enter widgets, and we have added one more thing, added time, that is our when we are adding this data, and we'll say edit date. Okay, so same things, time dot strf time, but in case we will use uh, percentage d, percentage date, month and year, right? Again I will say percentage year. I think it's perfect. Let me just cross check it. Okay, so it's sliced over here. It's not, like, we can't use commas everywhere. We have to use something different things over here. We'll say slices over here. Done. So everything is done, I think so. Still errors, I don't know why, but strf date maybe. Oh, okay, it's just a silly mistake, this and this over here, right? Done. Now it's everything fine. So we have just got all the data from our entry widget, and we have added two more data that is added time and added date. So what we have done, simply we have said time dot strf time, and we have just used strf time is inbuilt function that you have to remember, and where you have to use that you also have to remember, and some syntax that you have to remember. Capital H, M and S is hours, minutes and seconds. D, M, Y is date, month and year. So everything is done. Now we'll move forward to try and accept method, right? To add in our database. As I said, try and accept, we will say try and accept. Done. Everything is done. Not everything is done. We have just set up this. Now we'll say str is equal to, we'll add our database command, that is insert into what we have created our table over here. Let me show you. Create table student data. So we'll use this table name. We can't use another because like we have to use this here because MySQL works like that only. Okay, here I will say insert into student. Why I've copied is because if I do any spelling mistakes, then also it will be the error. So I have said insert into student data and values. This is our MySQL command, and if you don't know these commands, just go into my SQL videos which I have uploaded, and you can learn it over there too. Okay, so now we are going to add percentage s like this, percentage s for 9 times, because we have 9 datas to be entered into our database, that is id 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So here we are going to add more percentage as many as we can, but we don't have to like add hundreds of times. We have to just add 9. Okay, so if you add more data, you have to put more percentage s over here. Why we have done it, I will explain you it. So to you, like I'm already explaining to you only. So done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going in over here in our database things. Now what I will do is my cursor.execute. You can see over here, right? So I'll just copy it. I'm showing you a time consuming tricks, but if you type, it's better for you, that you will improve your typing skills too. My typing skills are bad, but you can improve your too. strr, let keep it rr, because str is already an inbuilt function. Then we are going to add all these things, id, name, mobile, email address, gender, dob, edit time and edit date, everything over here. So I will edit. Done. So I have added everything as I have told you: id, name, mobile, email, address, gender, dob, edit date and edit time. So we have said our str and my cursor to execute it, right? So now what we have to do is, I think something is missing up here, but I will see it later. If it is really missing, I will correct it then, and I will explain you to you, right? Now what I will left with is let me see. Now I will say con dot commit. Done. Now we have to say that message box should be pop up saying that res is equal to, we'll use it, but let me first explain to you, saying that your data has been added. Do you want to clear the form and add more data? We have to ask this question to our user using our widget that we used to pop up our message box, using a message box. In short, we are going to import our message box and going to ask our user if the user want to clears the form or he want to just close it. It's upon him or her. So I've added the message box over here. what our message box is about. Message box, right? The rest is equal to message box. Which type of message box? It asks yes, no, or cancel. There will be three options for us. Either you say yes, you say no, or you say cancel, right? And then we'll add a notification. Okay, so we'll say notification and comma id brackets name brackets added successfully. What will this do is it will import our id name. Id name means id and name. First of all, our id with whatever we have enter in our text id, and whatever we have enter our name. So both will be displayed over here. Like for example, if we say 101 and John as our name and 101 as its id, so this will pop up a notification that 101 John has been added successfully. And want to clear the form. Do you want to clear the form? Done. And do you want to clear the form? Like, then we will say dot format id comma name. A format id comma name because we have used earlier, as I have explained you. And parent is our add root. Okay, parent is our add root. That means our windows main window base window is our add root, right? For this message box only, not for whole project. So if the user say yes or no, then like we have to use our if statement. If res is equal to true. Okay, true. Then we have to clear whole form. Like we have to just clear all the data from the entry widgets. So I have done it for you. Like id val dot set, as we have done here, that id val here string val, but we have entered data, right? Now if we say set empty, if we'll say anything over here, it will set that word into our like entry widget. But if we'll say empty columns here, so no data will be represented over there. So as we have done this, now we have to work upon our accept. Like if it will try first of all these all things. If this won't work, it will go for accept and show errors. So as I've said, we have to just say show error over here. So we'll say message box dot show error notification id already exists, try another id. Like if id exists, it will say id exists. If it will not, then it will say like it will just continue. So now we have to add more things into it. Like if already exists, then we have to delete that and we have to add again. Like whatever, I will explain you. Okay, so what we have done is we have executed one command of MySQL saying that select staff from student data. Okay, we'll just say student data over here. Student data, like this will extract all the datas which are present in student data table, right? We will extract all the data. Now we have to see that if the id matches, we have like what the new id which we entered matches the old id, then we will say that id already exists, right? So for that we have to compare it. So we have to just take all that data into a string format, right? So we'll say data my cursor dot fetch all. What this will do is this will just like fetch all the data from our student data, right, from our table. So after that we have to say so sorry, what I've done, uh just a second. Oh, I've just messed up. Let me show you what I have done over here. Student add connect add wait on. Oh, here it is. What I've done is student table, like where we have used this our tree view. Over here we can see that we have used this student table variable in our tree view. So tree view is we will take get children, so we will take all the data from tree view, right? We have to match the data which we enter in tree view through our tree view. Like we are matching our data basically from tree view. Like tree view is our middleman which is comparing our data. So student table dot get children. Now we'll compare it with data. Now what will happen? We have taken another loop, like for loop. We'll say for I in datas. We'll say vv dot I0 I1, that is our string format, index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, right? And then we are going to insert it into our review, right? So basically this whole, like, the last all things what I have done is I have just like explained wrong to you, and I'm really sorry for that. Why? What is the reason behind this is we have added all the data to database, right? Now here we are extracting the data and we are adding it to our tree view, right, to view. So now I will run it and show you, right? I'm literally sorry, I'm feeling guilty for it. Let me show you. For first of all, I hope it goes well. Like, it is not comparing anything over here. So I will first of all connect to my database. I will say localhost then I will say root, then I will say my password, whatever password it is, then I will connect. So here you can see that we are connected to database. I will say add student. I will add our 101 as my ID, John. His mobile number will be 91 anything. Okay, email address John at the rate ymail, or anything you can say, John at the rate john.com, right? Then his address USA, maybe India, US, anything we want. Then I will cover gender, he's a male. Here we can add a drop down menu too, but like it will be a lengthy code too, so I haven't used it over here. Then dob is anything you can say. Here you don't have to follow the mysql command because we have used varchar here while creating the table. 12 12 12 sorry 12 12 1 12 done. So when I will say submit, id already exists, try another. Okay, so I will say 102. Or I'll say just say 1. And so what is happening, I don't know. Let me see over here. Student management on student data doesn't exist. Okay, so our table doesn't exist. What have we done? I don't know. Student student data. So first of all, we have been connected, right? Let me see if we are connected. Okay, so we are connected over here. Use student management. Let me go into my SQL and see. So databases. Okay, so here it is. I will say use student management, right? Okay, again a spelling error. student management done. So I know spelling mistakes occur. And now let's say show tables. Okay, so there are no tables into it. So basically our problem starts from there only, that our table has been not created. So I think some problem may be over here. Create table, id, int, name, varchar, mobile, everything is correct. Yeah, what's the problem? Just give me 2 seconds. I will find that problem. A long time. What I have done is just rename all the variables of our connect dbs, like that function that we are connecting to our database. There was some mistake, or I don't know, some error or some bug, or I don't know anything. So what I've done is I've renamed the database, renamed the table into it, and some variables and changed. So now I'm going to run Okay, so I will run it from over here. You know, like it's very irritating when we don't get the error. Now I'll connect to my database. I've, like, I've run more than 100 of time. Now we have changed these two. I was thinking that maybe some error in this message box too, so I've changed that too. Now I will say 101. Okay, let's keep 01. Name John. His mobile number is 9190904455. Now email, like, this number exist or don't exist, like, please don't, I don't know whose number it is, like, anyways, let's carry further. Mail address is John at the rate, sorry, John at the rate john.com. Right, now I will say address is USA, let me keep it a capital, none. Then I will say enter gender male, then 12 done. Now I'll say submit. Now you can see ID 01 named John added successfully. And want to clear the form, like, I've just done every much changes in this, and I will give this whole code in my description, right, at the last video, not now. Now, everything is done. If I will say no, then the form will not clear. If I will say yes, the form will be clear. Now you can type anything over here, another data you want. So if you like this video, like, share and subscribe. And in the another section, what we are going to do is we will we'll do it at the last, this whole thing. When we click, then the font size and everything of the review at the last, when we finish all the function of this button. So we have added data into our I'm summarizing the video in short. Like, we have added data into our databases, into our database, because why I'm trying databases, because when there was an error at almost made 10 to 15 database in student management 1, student management 2, 3, 4, 5, like I've made many. And what we have done is we have extracted that data from database and represented it in our review, right? So if you like this video, like, share and subscribe.